What's up, everyone? We're here in Las Vegas. I'm here with my man, Al, who's actually the founder of SellerAmp. So you guys might not know him. Now you do know him. All you guys that are sourcing out there with SellerAmp, this is the man behind it all right here. So we finally got him on camera and everything. And basically just want to introduce yourself to everyone, you know, where you're from, where you're about, and then we'll get into all the cool stuff we're doing now.
Right. Hi, folks. Yeah, my name's Al. I'm from the UK originally, but I'm living in Texas in the US now. I founded SellerAmp 4 years ago, thereabouts. And it's been a journey.
And so, Al, you've been making money online for a while through a lot of different ways. So we want to talk about some of the different stuff you've done, and then we'll get into, you know, what we're up to today.
Sure. Yeah, I've been like a software engineer doing sort of financial systems, various software systems, but I've always been entrepreneurial. So I've had numerous different businesses online for like the past 20 years. I had a sort of network of content sites and like technology sites, making money from like advertising affiliates, and that's when I first got into Amazon as an Amazon affiliate, where we'd be reviewing sort of technical products and then affiliate deal afterwards. But I even had like 2 years of high traffic before I knew the Amazon affiliate program existed. So we was doing this, then basically moved from the Amazon affiliate space to the Amazon selling space. And like most sellers, I didn't know there was what FBA was. When I first learned about it, I knew you could buy on Amazon. I didn't know there were third-party sellers there. And like once you sort of learn about this, you just learn about different business models. Like when I was started on Amazon, it was 8 years ago. Was nowhere near as much sort of quality information or tools that there are today. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, and you had a pretty sizable operation, especially for the UK 6, 7, 8 years ago. So talk about what you actually had, what numbers you had, everything like that in terms of strictly the physical product business on Amazon.
Okay, I started out like a lot of people in my kitchen. The first thing I ever sold was a golf range finder that my father-in-law bought me for my birthday because he was into golf and he thought I was. So I sold that online. I did that FBM, not knowing what FBM was at the time. Then did more research, see how else you could make money on Amazon, and then sort of came across FBA. So scanned all the books in my house, scanned some old DVDs, sent those all in. They sold and made money, or I thought I made money, to be honest with you. I probably made a loss because I didn't realise at the time how high the fees are on books and things like that. But that's how I sort of got started. And then from there, I moved into doing a little bit of RA, but more OA. And I found like a local wholesaler. And this is all going through the kitchen. So like, boxes come in, you know what it's like. You fill the boxes up.
Everyone completely relates.
Then once your kitchen gets full, then like you ship the boxes out. So I was doing like a fairly big shipment, probably multiple times a week. And like wife Alison, who's in the SellerAmp business with me now, how she put up with this, I don't know. Because our kitchen was just like a warehouse for a good few months. Then one of my friends had an industrial unit around the corner. He offered me some space. So then I could start getting bigger orders from distributors, which got delivered to his space. And so we're doing so much in the kitchen and so much in his unit. And from there, I got my own small warehouse. So that was probably within about 9 months, we went from the kitchen. Because we started in the summer, so we had our first Q4. And like, your first Q4 was amazing. Then got our own warehouse and just sort of grew it from there. But then as I started sort of selling, once we got the warehouse, I started developing software that would help me sort of manage the business. So we sort of went from nothing. I think in the first few, I remember I posted a screenshot the other day. I think in the first month I did about £500 or $700. And like first sort of Q4 was probably about 10,000. And by the time I sort of finished, it was like 4 years later, we were doing like a rolling in dollars, about 120,000 a month. But that was more in the Q4 rather than year round. So did a few million in the sort of 4 years that I was sort of buying and selling. But one thing I've always tried to do with businesses is like remove my involvement to an extent or automate as much as I can. So once I got the warehouse, then I employed a girl to do the sort of packing. So she was doing like the shipments 4 days a week, but she wanted to do more hours. So we did some RA. So I basically taught her how to do RA, bought a little white van. So she'd drive around 3 days a week, ship goods in 2 days a week. So what we found was like when she was doing RA, she was really good. Her background, she used to work at Boots. So she knew all about what the boots prices are, when the boots sales were, what the good deals were. And like when I started, like a lot of people, I just sold toys. But like she moved into the like makeup area, sun cream, and she had a lot more knowledge than I have on all of those. So by sort of doing that, getting the van, when she was doing like small purchases, she's fine to do it herself. We were just scanning with the sort of Seller Central app. But
yeah, true. I'm so used to saying the SellerAmp app, but yeah, thinking back
that was Seller Central. Yeah. It's but then when it was a big purchase, she'd be on the telephone to me before she'd pay for it. So then I'd be like looking at Keeper, looking at the history, and giving like the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And that's really the idea of SellerAmp came. It was like, okay, we need to automate this so she doesn't have to call me up and just make it faster. And yeah, but that's how it started.
Yeah, so what we've always said is SellerAmp answers those three questions, right? It's does it sell, can you sell it, and then is it profitable? Right there. So what does that actually look like in terms of putting together the tool that a lot of people watching this, including ourselves, obviously know and love and use every day?
The most important thing is what you're going to buy. It's what you don't buy. So it's getting rid of the non-profitable deals, the deals that don't sell as fast as possible. So that's the way we sort of designed it. Like one of the biggest features we had at the very beginning was max cost. So this is the max cost you can pay for it to make what your criteria is. So that was like in the first version that had its own panel. The first thing you saw was max cost. And then over time, as we've added more features, and then it's like, are you eligible to sell it? Is it hazmat, dangerous goods, etc.? It's sort of grown from there. I can't remember where we came up with like the 3 questions to put on the website of like, can you sell it? Does it sell? Is it profitable? And like as soon as you get a negative answer to those, you can quite often just put that product down and move on to the next product. Do you know, like if you're doing RA and scanning things, like you don't want to be spending like 5 minutes on a product to know, oh yeah, I'm not buying that. And like, so it's totally designed where you scan the products and without you having to like key in a price or anything like that, you get the information as fast as we can.
Yeah, definitely. And you get to see like whether it makes sense, and you just start to be able to disqualify stuff quicker, basically. What I really like about your story, and I think it's incredibly important for people to understand, is that like as an entrepreneur, like you just slowly move up into better opportunities. You get better so you can take better advantage of stuff. Like with me, it was selling used books. Then I started doing shoes. Then I started doing online arbitrage on Amazon. And then, crazy that we end up being able to work on a Chrome extension and software app together. And everything like that. For people who might not be familiar with Amazon UK, or maybe for people who are in Amazon UK, a lot of people are worried that it's not as big an opportunity as Amazon US. So can you talk about maybe the differences and whether you still see it as a substantial opportunity?
The opportunity is still like every year you hear it's saturated, you can't do it.
It's ever since I was starting, every year.
It's all every year it comes out. And you've got to adapt. You have got to change. One of the problems is if something's really easy, other people will do it. And once other people do it, then it can become saturated. So you've got to try and be different. Like one thing I did when we were selling was I tried to diversify in multiple different ways. Where we did, the retail arbitrage was the most profitable, but it was also the most work. The online arbitrage was profitable and it was easier to scale. And then we did wholesale. So we had 3 arms where we had, retail, online, and wholesale. And we went for the warehouse routes with the wholesale because we were using distributors, so we'd often get end of line. But by getting end of line, we had to sort of buy in bulk. So you couldn't send it to Amazon because storage fees would be too high. So we had to hold on to the products for 12 months. So what we would do then is, if you bought pallets, in a fast-selling product, pallets isn't very much. But on a slower-selling sort of toy, pallets, certainly in the UK, pallets of some certain toys will take a while to sell. So what we would do, we would ship in so much straight away to try and get some of the money back. We would save some for when other people got end of line and sold out, and then we could sell it at a higher price. And then we'd also save some so we could sell it at Q4. So if we bought something in say February, we'd sell some straight away just to sort of get some of the sort of money back. We'd save on for them for a few months, start sort of drip feeding it in, and then Q4 we'd just sort of send the rest in.
That's the nice thing about having the warehouse.
Yeah, the warehouse gives you that flexibility, but it also restricts you. Where you've got, I had staff in the warehouse, but we chose it, so it was really close to me because we did some FBM as well. So if an FBM order came in and there's nobody else working, I'd have to go in, ship it out. So having a warehouse is it was a 10-minute drive, which was great.
Yeah, definitely. And something I know that was really instrumental for SellerAmp and really instrumental for myself was actually the Amazon community. So can you talk about how that was helpful both on the software side and both on the actually building your own Amazon business side of things too?
Yeah, I was on like various sort of Facebook groups. I tried to be sort of as helpful as I could be, so I'd share a lot of information, and I learned a lot from other people as well. And like I think being in the community really helps. There's like a lot of online businesses are pretty lonely.
So
you
lonely.
can like
yeah, I always say that.
You sat at the computer all day and like very little interaction. But like being sort of in groups online is great, and also then getting to like networking events as well, like we're making.
Yeah,
now.
we're in Las Vegas right now for ASD. We're meeting a lot of sellers.
Yeah, because like before I did sort of, as a seller, I was like an affiliate in the sort of SEO space and in the affiliate space, and that was all just on your own. Until then, I learned about affiliate conferences, and you go to them, meet other people, share stories, and just share ideas as well. And like one thing you'll find is you'll learn so much more meeting somebody in person than you'll ever learn watching them on YouTube. Because like people share things, no offense.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah, like people will share things on YouTube, but like so many thousands of people will be watching it on YouTube. You can't share like your secret stuff as such. But when you're meeting somebody in a conference at a bar, you'll learn a lot more of like different things that work.
Yeah, definitely. And so kind of a left turn here, but what do you think is the most underrated SellerAmp feature? What's something people should be using more of that they're not using as much?
I'm going to go back to max cost. That was like the first thing. It was one of those like light bulb moments when we're thinking like, what is the information you need that will sort of decide like, you can change your sale price. You can sort of advertise to change like how fast something sells, but typically you can't change it. You can't change the cost price that you're buying. So knowing what that max cost is, and I think people do. Like originally, people didn't really use that, but I think over time, people have sort of seen like, yeah, that's actually really useful information.
Yeah, because you can see it right immediately there, right when you look at the extension or when you're doing RA. That's incredibly important information you need to immediately. And then, what are some big mistakes you think a lot of beginners make that might hold them back from the success they want to see with Amazon?
Like one of the mistakes I made was like just not realizing what the fees were when you're first getting involved. Like when I was buying things with the SellerAmp, I was looking at like how many reviews there were to judge whether it would sell or not, just based on the number of reviews. And like obviously using the sales rank and estimated sales helps massively with that. And just taking into account the fees. Then like I remember like buying sort of some massive Millennium Falcons and shipping them in. Like the difference between the cost price and the sales price was huge, but I didn't factor in fees. And like your oversized fees, it's like still making a profit, but they were nowhere near as nice as they look. And also, with it being oversized, like the shipping, the actual fee to ship it into Amazon was large as well. You could only get like 3 of these things in a box.
Yes, that's rough. And I know the exact Lego that you're talking about with that.
It wasn't Lego. It was, I think over here, I think they're in Walmart. And they were just massive plastic Millennium Falcons.
Okay. I'm sure the Lego one's big and expensive.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, your Lego ones are going to be even heavier.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right there. And then where can people find you? Obviously, we have SellerAmp.com for people who use our tool, but where can people find you on social media? Yeah,
I used to post a lot, then I kind of stopped, and I started again, and I stopped. Like on Twitter, I'm Al Carlton. And Al Carlton, I am in most places. Like, actually, I didn't give my email address away then.
Too. We got the SellerAmp Facebook group.
You've got SellerAmp Facebook group.
Yeah.
You've got a SellerAmp Instagram accounts, your Twitter account. And I am trying to get more actually just posting my own stuff.
Yeah.
I say that every time I go out and I never get around to it.
Well, let this be the start, though, because we're going to get you a lot more Twitter followers and everything. So this is the mastermind behind SellerAmp, and thanks, everyone, for watching, and thanks for coming on the channel, Al.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me on.